Results expose the truth most people try to hide. Your effort leaves evidence whether you like it or not. And that is exactly why results are powerful. Results do not care about intentions. They do not care how motivated you felt on Monday morning. They do not care about the plans sitting in your notebook or the goals written on your phone. Results only reflect what you actually did. That is why many people avoid looking at them. Numbers, outcomes, and progress reports remove every excuse. They show the truth in a way that feelings never will. If the work was weak, the result is weak. If the effort was inconsistent, the outcome exposes it. This is uncomfortable, but it is also powerful. Because once you accept that results tell the truth, you gain something most people never use: clear feedback about your life. The problem is that many people try to negotiate with reality. They believe effort should automatically produce reward even when the effort is small, distracted, or inconsistent. Reality does not work like that. Results are mechanical. If you train rarely, your body will not change. If you study without focus, your knowledge stays shallow. If you work only when you feel inspired, your progress will always be slow. The scoreboard of life reflects actions repeated over time, not intentions, not motivation, and not hope. The good news is that honest results are useful. They remove confusion. They show you exactly where the gap is between who you are and who you say you want to become. When the result is poor, it is not an insult, it is information. It tells you the current strategy is not strong enough. Maybe the hours are too few. Maybe the focus is scattered. Maybe the standards are low. Instead of hiding from that signal, you can use it like data for improvement. People who succeed in the long run treat results like a mirror. They look directly at what the mirror shows. If the performance is weak, they adjust the process. If the numbers drop, they increase discipline. If progress slows, they remove distractions. They do not waste energy arguing with reality. The result is the result. Complaining about it changes nothing. Improving the inputs is the only lever that moves the outcome. This is why results are actually a good thing. They protect you from living inside comfortable lies. They force a clear question. What did your actions produce? If the answer is small progress, the path forward is simple. Increase the quality of the work, extend the consistency, and remove the excuses. Over time, the numbers begin to move. When they move, your confidence becomes real because it is built on evidence, not imagination. Results do not lie, and that is exactly why they are one of the most valuable tools you will ever have if you are willing to face them honestly and keep improving the work every single day. Eventually, those honest results become proof that discipline works, effort compounds, and responsibility builds a life that cannot be faked or borrowed from anyone else at all, just consistent daily work. Repeated. Most people say they want better results, but very few are willing to examine the behavior that creates them. They prefer motivation instead of measurement. Motivation feels good for a moment. Measurement shows the truth every day. The moment you start measuring your actions honestly, you remove the illusion of progress. You stop guessing and you start seeing exactly what is happening. How many hours did you actually work with focus? How often did you train? How many distractions interrupted the day? Numbers bring clarity, and clarity forces responsibility. Responsibility is uncomfortable because it removes the habit of blaming circumstances. It is easy to say, the market is difficult, the opportunities are limited, or the timing is wrong. Those factors exist, but they are rarely the full explanation. Two people can face the same environment and produce completely different results. One improves steadily while the other stays stuck. The difference usually comes down to consistency and discipline applied over long periods of time. Consistency is not exciting. It rarely produces dramatic change in a single day. That is why many people abandon it early. They work intensely for a short period, then lose focus when progress feels slow. Results do not respond well to that pattern. Progress requires repeated effort long after the initial excitement disappears. The individual who keeps showing up when motivation fades is the one who eventually sees the numbers move. Another important truth about results is that they compound quietly. Small improvements repeated every day begin to accumulate. A slightly better work habit, a slightly stronger focus, and a slightly higher standard may seem insignificant at first. But over months, those small adjustments reshape the outcome completely. The opposite is also true. Small, daily distractions slowly destroy progress. A few wasted hours every day can erase an entire year of potential improvement. People who build strong lives understand this pattern. They focus less on dramatic breakthroughs and more on reliable systems. They protect their time, they raise their standards, and they repeat the same productive behaviors until those behaviors become normal. At that point, discipline stops feeling like punishment and begins to feel like structure. When you start respecting results instead of avoiding them, your mindset changes. You stop asking whether something feels productive and you start asking whether it produces measurable progress. If the answer is no, you adjust quickly. This mindset removes a large amount of emotional noise from your decisions. The process becomes simple. Perform the work, measure the outcome, improve the process, and repeat. Over time, this approach builds something powerful. Trust in your own effort. You no longer depend on motivation or temporary excitement. You depend on systems that produce results again and again. That reliability becomes a quiet advantage in a world where many people rely on feelings instead of discipline. The important point is that results are not punishment. They are feedback. Every result tells you whether the process is working. If the answer is no, you now have clear direction about what must change. That honesty allows steady improvement, and steady improvement eventually produces outcomes that once seemed impossible. But those outcomes never arrive suddenly. They are built slowly through daily work that most people are not willing to repeat long enough to see the real reward appear. At some point, you reach a moment where the evidence becomes impossible to ignore. The results clearly show whether your standards are strong enough or not. This moment is important because it forces a decision. You either raise your level of discipline or you continue accepting the same outcomes. Many people spend years waiting for circumstances to improve instead of improving their own behavior. They hope something external will change their life. But the pattern rarely breaks until the internal standard changes first. Raising your standard means demanding more from your daily actions. It means working with focus even when nobody is watching. It means finishing the task even when the excitement disappears. It also means accepting that progress will sometimes feel slow. The majority of real improvement happens quietly. There are no dramatic announcements. There is only repeated effort that gradually produces stronger results. One of the biggest differences between people who succeed and people who remain stuck is their relationship with discomfort. Improvement always requires a period of struggle. Learning new skills feels awkward. Building discipline feels restrictive at first. Maintaining focus requires saying no to many easy distractions. These experiences are uncomfortable, but they are also temporary. Once a higher standard becomes routine, the discomfort fades and the benefits remain. Another reality about results is that they reward patience. Modern culture often encourages immediate gratification. People want quick evidence that their effort is working. When that evidence does not appear quickly, they assume the process has failed. In many cases, the process was actually correct, but it simply required more time. Results built through discipline often grow slowly at first, and then accelerate once the foundation is strong. That is why patience and persistence are essential partners of effort. If you change direction every time progress feels slow, you never give any system enough time to work. The person who commits to a strong process and repeats it long enough eventually builds momentum. That momentum begins to produce visible outcomes. Income increases. Skills become sharper. Opportunities expand. What once required intense effort starts to feel normal. When that stage arrives, something interesting happens. The same results that once exposed weaknesses now begin to confirm improvement. The numbers reflect better habits. The progress reflects stronger focus. Instead of avoiding the scoreboard, you start using it as proof that your discipline is producing real change. In the end, results are not enemies. They are guides. They show you whether your current behavior is building the future you want or moving you away from it. If you face those signals honestly, you gain a powerful advantage. You stop wasting years on ineffective habits. You focus your energy on actions that actually move life forward. The message is simple but demanding. Look at your results without excuses. Adjust your behavior with discipline. Repeat the work long enough for improvement to appear. When you follow that pattern consistently, something powerful happens. Your results stop being warnings and start becoming evidence that responsibility and steady effort are shaping a stronger life.